Hey guys, thought I would mix it up a little bit, and instead of doing a normal write up for the Bible study for last week of Ecclesiastes, I figured I'd do a video. Just tired of writing, and thought maybe I could maybe be a little more accessible, put it on YouTube and stuff, maybe get a few more visitors. A couple weeks ago, for the reading, I don't know if you guys are following along. We're doing Ecclesiastes, so I just kind of wanted to talk about that and talk about like what its whole purpose was, why did Solomon write it, um, things like that. Like what's the final theme you can get from it. So Ecclesiastes is written by Solomon about 931 BC. Um, like it pretty much covers Solomon questioning what is the point of life. What look at all this injustice I see in the world. Why am I even here? What can I do to have a gain from life when when nothing is perfectly just and everything seems like it's just complete vanity. So chapter one actually opens up with vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity, and it's pretty much just like demonstrating like Solomon has there's nothing that he thinks nothing he finds while he's looking for all this wisdom. He's looking for all this meaning in life. Everything seems to be vanity. That's kind of how he opens up, and this kind of seems pretty different from what we've read so far in the Bible. Like we've read about how a lot of different things are important in life, wisdom and things like that. And here Solomon pretty much says all of that's completely useless. And so, yeah. Um, and so pretty much like Solomon goes out and he's like, like chapter 2 he says, I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth, therefore enjoy pleasure. And so Solomon goes out and he pretty much says, I'm not going to deny myself anything I want, anything my heart desires, I'm going to have it. And we'll see if that can find some meaning in life. And so he does that. And sure enough, right after he says it, but surely this also is vanity. I said of laughter, madness, and of mirth, what does this accomplish? I searched in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. So like he does all this stuff, and it comes out that this is just completely pointless. Like all these things, pretty much like he's saying that if you go out and live life like a lot of people do, just a heathen lifestyle, like hedonism, and go out and do whatever your heart desires, go drink and party and have fun, like it's not going to satisfy you, and it's just at the end it's completely meaningless. Um, then this kind of goes a lot along with we talked about how during the Bible study of Proverbs, like it outlined how important wisdom is and why it's so important. And this kind of goes against that almost like 180 degrees, because he's let's see, he says, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceive that the same events happen to them all. So it's pretty much saying, like, look, even if you're wise, you could have the exact same fate as a foolish man, which is true in life. I don't know about you guys, but you definitely felt like someone who's just a complete, moron is just getting away with something, and like you guys end up with the same outcome pretty much. So Solomon kind of touches on that and basically is uh, like there's no point to being either wise or foolish, because either way you can have the same thing. And that also goes against Proverbs again. So keep that in mind while you're reading. And then he says, how about this? So he's trying out all these different ways, and he says, okay, well, I've tried hedonism, tried wisdom. So far, nothing seems to be have any real meaning to it. So he says, all right, well, I'll try and work really hard. And he kind of talks about someone who works really hard and how nothing happens out of it. He says, there's one alone, without companions. He has neither son nor brother. Yet there is no end to all his labors, nor is his eye satisfied with riches. But he never asks, for whom do I toil and deprive myself of good? This also is vanity and a grave misfortune. So, the guy who works really hard, gives up almost everything he has to work hard and, toil for himself, for his own gain. comes out and he never asks himself, why am I doing this? Because Solomon says once you die, someone who didn't work hard is going to get all that and reap all the rewards. And or something might happen, and you can't be guaranteed that this work is going to pay off for you. And he says that I think it's around chapter 4, actually a little bit later, he says how death comes to us all, and it's kind of like, what's the point of all this? And one of my favorite verses from Ecclesiastes is in chapter 12, and I actually saw this verse because it was originally written on top of the church at the Citadel in South Carolina. It was written, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth." And it kind of talks about, like in chapter 12, before your difficult days come and the years draw near, when you say, I have no pleasure to them, while the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are not darkened, and the clouds do not return after the rain. So, that's pretty obvious. What he's saying is just like, remember, like it's important for us guys to remember God and remember who made us, especially while we're still young, because that's going to change our behavior for the rest of our lives. And it's also a lot easier to praise God when you're young and you're happy than when you're old and about to die. So Solomon looks at all these different things and he says, okay, I have no idea what the point of all this is. Everything seems meaningless to him, but finally he finds out what the whole duty of man is. And he says, I'll read this whole part, but it's going to be summed up in the end. So the whole duty of man, the last chapter of Ecclesiastes. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yes, he pondered and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find acceptable words, and what was written was upright, words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, and the words of scholars are like woe-driven nails, given by one shepherd. And further, my son, be admonished by these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is wearisome to the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. So he finally just sums up everything. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. So, that's pretty much the conclusion to Ecclesiastes, is that you just need to fear God and keep his commandments and be ready for judgment. And keep in mind, this is the Old Testament before Christ came. So, commandments may have been a little bit different than us, and right now, when the Christ came, they asked him, what is the greatest commandments? And it's to love the Lord your God, all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength. And so just keep that in mind and remember that, even when things might seem completely meaningless, that's all you have to do is just, fear God and keep his commandments and remember your Creator. Thanks for listening, guys. I don't know if I'll do a video for next time, but I still need to go over Song of Solomon, and then right now, if you guys haven't caught up, as of March 8th, we are reading in Isaiah, if anyone wants to catch up with us. But thanks for listening, guys, and God bless you, and hope you'll go read this stuff on your own. It's 1,000 times better than me sitting here talking about it. But thanks again for listening.